The arena fell silent as champion Krelthor collapsed to his knees, his forearms trembling. His exoskeleton cracked in 17 places. Across from him the human stood with barely a scratch, rolling his shoulders like he'd just finished a warm-up routine. Impossible, Krelthor wheezed through his breathing slits. He was the Vorten Empire's greatest warrior, undefeated in 3,000 duels across 500 worlds. He had broken mountains with his fists and torn apart battle mechs with his bare hands, and now this soft-skinned biped had beaten him. The human, Marcus Chen, according to the arena records, wiped a trickle of blood from his lip and grinned. Good fight, big guy. Really got my heart pumping. Krelthor's secondary eyes focused on the human's chest, where sophisticated sensors embedded in the arena floor fed him biological data. The readings made no sense. The human's heart rate was already dropping back to normal levels. His muscle tissue showed minimal damage. His body temperature was barely elevated. You're not even tired, Krelthor said, disbelief flooding his multi-chambered lungs. Marcus stretched his neck, producing an audible crack that made the crowd of alien spectators gasp. Tired? Nah, man. I'm just getting started. The arena medics rushed forward, but Krelthor waved them away with one functioning arm. He needed to understand. In his 3 centuries of life, he had studied every warrior species in the known galaxy. Humans were supposed to be weak. Average strength, average speed, average durability. They had no natural weapons, no armored skin, no redundant organs. They were prey animals that had somehow stumbled into space travel. Yet this human had matched him blow for blow, had absorbed strikes that would have liquefied most species, and had countered with techniques that seemed to evolve mid-combat. How? Krelthor demanded. Your species is fragile. Your bones are hollow calcium structures. Your skin tears like paper. I've read the xenobiology reports. Marcus knelt beside the fallen champion, his expression shifting from cocky to respectful. Yeah, we're fragile. That's exactly why we're dangerous. That makes no sense, doesn't it? Marcus gestured to the crowd, thousands of aliens from hundreds of species all staring in shocked silence. See, most of you guys evolved on worlds where you were the apex predators. You got big, you got strong, you got tough. You didn't need to get creative because nothing could challenge you. He tapped his temple. Humans? We were prey for most of our evolution. Saber-toothed cats, bears, wolves, everything wanted to eat us. We were slow, weak, and had no natural defenses. So we developed something better than claws or armor. What? Krelthor asked, genuinely curious now despite his pain. Spite, Marcus said with a laugh, and the absolute refusal to quit. He stood up, addressing not just Krelthor but the entire arena. You know what makes humans special? It's not that we're the strongest or the fastest. It's that we don't know when to give up. We have this thing called an endurance hunting instinct. Our ancestors would chase prey for days until it collapsed from exhaustion. We'd get injured, keep going. Get sick, keep going. We'd literally run until our prey died of fatigue. Marcus pointed to his legs. These? Optimized for long-distance running. Our sweat glands? Best cooling system in the galaxy. Our brains? Wired to ignore pain and keep pushing when every logical impulse says to stop. Krelthor thought back to the fight. He had landed devastating blows in the first 2 minutes. Strikes that should have ended the match. But the human had simply continued. Each time Krelthor expected him to fall, Marcus had adapted, learned, countered. You studied my fighting style, Krelthor realized. During the match. Yep, first few minutes I was just observing, taking the hits, figuring out your patterns. You're incredibly strong, champion. But you rely on techniques that have worked for you for centuries. Once I understood the pattern, I could exploit it. But the pain hurts like hell, Marcus admitted, wincing as he touched his ribs. Probably got some fractures, maybe internal bleeding. But here's the thing about humans. We evolved to override our pain response when we need to. Adrenaline, endorphins, sheer stubbornness, call it what you want. When a human decides something matters enough, we can keep fighting on a broken leg, keep running with a ruptured organ, keep going when we should be dead, the crowd murmured. 1,000 different languages mixing into a sound like distant thunder. Marcus extended his hand to Krelthor. You're an incredible warrior, champion. Probably the toughest opponent I've ever faced, but you made one mistake. What mistake? Krelthor asked, accepting the hand and allowing himself to be helped to his feet. You thought the fight would be over when you broke me, Marcus said softly. But humans? We're persistence predators. We're the species that looked at mountains and said, let's climb that. We looked at the ocean and said, let's cross it. We looked at space itself and said, let's live there. Breaking us isn't the end, it's just when we get interesting. Krelthor stood on unsteady legs, looking at the human who had defeated him. Marcus was smiling, but there was no mockery in it, just honest respect and that terrifying human optimism. The galaxy should fear your species, Krelthor said quietly. Marcus shrugged. Nah, just don't mistake our kindness for weakness and we'll get along fine. He grinned again. Besides, I'm just one guy. Wait until you meet our grandmothers. Now those are some scary humans. As the medics finally convinced both warriors to accept treatment, Krelthor made a mental note to update his report to the Emperor. The humans weren't just another species to be catalogued and dismissed. They were survivors, adapters, endurance hunters who had turned the entire universe into their hunting ground. And they were just getting started.